Hello GMS students, this is Mr. Friedman, and today we are going to be continuing with solving systems of equations using the elimination method. Before you begin today's lesson, please download the guided notes, which are located on Google Classroom. If you have a printer, please print them out. If you do not have a printer, please copy down this example and follow along as I go through this. So in yesterday's lesson, we learned to solve a system of equations where we had to multiply one of the two equations by a number in order to form a zero pair and in order to get one of the two variables to eliminate. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at equations or systems where we have to multiply both equations. So let's take a look at my system here. 3x minus 2y equals 2. Negative 5x plus 5y equals negative 10. I can't get a variable to eliminate by just multiplying one of the two equations because 3 doesn't go into 5. Okay, so just by multiplying this first equation, I can't make x eliminate. But 2 doesn't go into 5 either. Okay, so I can't get my variables to eliminate unless I multiply both of the equations. So let's think about what we could multiply both of them by to make a variable eliminate. Now I can eliminate either x or y. Neither is going to be very difficult. Let's think about how I would eliminate y. So if I want to get y to have the same coefficient, what I'm going to do is multiply my first equation by 5, and I'm going to multiply my second equation by 2. That's going to allow me to eliminate my y. Now I could have done this with x, it would have been just as easy to do it, but I chose to eliminate y. So let's go ahead and multiply my first equation. 5 times 3x gives me 15x. 5 times negative 2y gives me negative 10y. 5 times 2 is 10. So my first equation becomes 15x minus 10y equals 10. Now let's multiply through on our second equation. 2 times negative 5x gives me negative 10x. 2 times 5y gives me 10y. 2 times negative 10 gave me negative 20. So now we see that we have a zero pair with our y's. These will cancel out. Note here, I didn't have to multiply either of the equations by a negative. I multiplied them both by a positive because I already had different signs on the y. If I had the same signs, one of these two would have to get multiplied by a negative number. So remember, we always want one positive and one negative in order to get our zero pair. Okay, so 15x minus 10x gives me 5x. My y's cancel out. 10 minus 20 is negative 10. Divide through by 5, and I get x is equal to negative 2. Now to solve for y, we have to go back into one of our equations. Let's take the first equation, 3x minus 2y equals 2. Oh, sorry, I did this wrong. I'm going to leave this as y. 3x, let me just rewrite this here. 3x minus 2y equals 2. So I left a blank space for x because I now know what x is. X is negative 2. So 3 times negative 2 gives me negative 6 minus 2y equals 2. Add 6 to both sides. Negative 2y equals 8. Or y equals to negative 4. So my solution is negative 2, negative 4. Now let's go ahead and check this. So to check, I'm going to go into both equations and plug in my solution. 3x minus 2y equals 2. I'm taking my original equation before I multiplied 3x minus 2y equals 2. Let's plug in our solution. X is -2, y is -4. 3 times -2 is -6. -2 times -4 becomes a +8. 2 equals 2. That checks. And let's take our second equation. -5x plus 5y equals -10. Plug in our solution here. X is -2. Y is -4. -5 times -2 gives me a +10. 5 times -4 is -20 equals -10. 10 plus -20 is -10. And that also checks. So now you should be ready to begin today's lesson. So just remember, we're always going to be eliminating one of the two variables, and to do that, we'll have to multiply both equations. If your signs are already different on that variable, you can multiply both by a positive number. If you have the same signs on that variable you're trying to eliminate, then you'll have to multiply one of the equations by a positive and one of them by a negative.